What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to look at a statement from Bandai, and we all need to calm down quite a bit. I say we all need to calm down, that's probably not quite true, but a lot of people have been asking me to make a video talking about shops selling above RRP, etc. The time hasn't been right before now, but I think given the statement the Bandai have put out this morning, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about everything else, and as I've said, a lot of people have been asking me to make a video on this topic, so I figured today was probably about a good time to do so. Here is what Bandai have come out and said on the official Facebook for the Digimon TCG. Digimon Tamers, we have become aware that a number of retailers are selling Digimon card game products above their suggested retail price. We would like to provide an update to our post from January the 30th concerning the availability of our products. As previously stated, Boosters 1.0 and 1.5 have been reprinted and have arrived or are on their way to distributors worldwide. Regarding North America, these products will arrive at distributors by the end of March. These products are also scheduled to arrive at distributors from April and onward, i.e. we're not talking about one reprint here. We're not talking about, hey, they've printed another 1,000 booster boxes. This is a continual thing. They are going to, and we'll talk about this again in a moment, they are going to keep reprinting these sets. Due to the pandemic's effect on production and freight logistics is basically how you get your product from the factory to consumers, there is the possibility of further delay on these products at the distributor or store level. Please ask your local game store to contact their distributor for specific information on when these products will be available in your region. We are committed to providing our players and fans with enough product necessary at our suggested retail price. We thank you for your understanding and ongoing support of the Digimon card game. So there are a few things to dig into here, and one of them, and I cannot say this clearly enough, apparently, Bandai have not botched the launch of the game. It's during a pandemic. Now, basically, there were 3 options available to Bandai when the pandemic hit. Option number 1, do exactly what they did. Do a pre-sale in November. Yes, obviously they wanted the real launch in November. I did a video called something like Digimon TCG Problems Are Not a Conspiracy. I'll link it in the description. Check it out. I go into it in a whole bunch more detail there. But option number 1 was what they did, which is do the pre-sale in November, which is not what they want to do. That's when the full launch should have happened. And then do a launch in February, March time with whatever product they have got and just do what they can. Option number 2 was cancel the whole thing. Just don't run the game. Now, if you care about the Digimon TCG at all, then you don't want them to have cancelled the launch, because that's the worst case scenario. I saw, before we had the English release revealed, I saw how many people desperately wanted this game to launch in English, so that wasn't an issue. Option number 3 was they just delay. Instead of launching in November 2020, they launch in November 2021. Have a year of extra time to ramp up production, get distribution sorted. The issue is, by the time we get to November, Japan are going to be on like set 7. So we are going to be, well, Japan launched in July 2020, which means we would essentially be 18 months behind Japan. We'd be basically a year and a half behind. And we would never even remotely catch up. And everybody would be super annoyed because, well, we're so far behind Japan, it's pointless, blah, blah, blah. And they were the only options. They launch with whatever they can, knowing there are going to be delays and shortages. They cancel it, or they delay it, and we end up so far behind Japan, nobody is ever happy. There's no 4th option. They are the only options Digimon had. So now that we've established they had to launch in November, or pre-sale November, launch beginning of the year, what could they have done? They have been super, and this is what I love about Bandai and Digimon, right? They've been really transparent. They have come out several times and said, we are sorry, we are doing our best, we are reprinting. And yet I keep seeing people going, oh, they've bungled the launch. How? What could they possibly have done better? Other than delay the game or cancel the game? And I've said this point before as well, but it bears repeating. Bandai are a profit-making business. The goal of every profit-making business is, wait for it, to make profit. They want your money. They know you want the cards. So they want to print the cards so they can give you the cards so you can give them money. I promise you, they are printing as much as they can because they want to get your money. Now, another thing which is really important to note here, these products will arrive at distributors by the end of March. These products are also scheduled to arrive at distributors from April and onwards. They are going to keep reprinting. And this is another point I've made before. We're talking Booster 1.0 and we're talking Booster 1.5. This is the beginning of the game. You have to overprint. You have no choice but to overprint. And the reason is extremely simple. This is when people get into the game. You will get more people, a lot more people, for set 1 and 1.5 than you will for BT4, BT5, etc. This is when you hook new people. Generally speaking, when we're talking about producing physical products in a business sense, there are two potential options. You either risk overproduction, which will cost you money with unsold product that you have to reduce price, or you risk underproduction, where you risk losing sales. Now, when the game has been established for a few years, and we see this in a bunch of games at the moment, you may well risk underproduction and losing sales because you're looking at your bottom line. For a new game, there is no choice. This might be a good time to remind you I've taught business professionally for like a decade and a half. There is no choice for a new product like this when you're trying to get people in. You overproduce and you know that at some point you're going to have to sell unsold stock at a loss, or at least at a much lower profit. You know that because it's a trading card game. You hook people in set 1, and if everything goes well, you might have them for 10, 20 years spending a couple grand a year. There is no option. You overproduce the first few sets. That is one of the most simple business lessons I can teach you. So they are going to keep distributing. They are going to keep producing. Stuff is going to keep hitting the shelves. And I promise you, Bandai are doing the best they can to produce this as fast as they can. So what about these scalpers then? For those of you that have missed it, I showed you the red starter deck in a video the other day when I talked about how good it was, and I showed you that the red starter deck was selling on eBay for somewhere in the region of $36. This is a $10 product. It should not be selling online. Now, this is an actual scalper, right? Actual scalpers, these are the people that will go to shops and they will buy all of the product so that they can sell it on for a higher price. The way you beat scalpers is super easy. Ignore them and they go away. Because these people have bought the decks for $10 and they're selling them for $36. They're expecting a $26 profit per deck. So we ignore them. And the thing about scalpers is, if they can't sell their product, what are they going to try and do? Well, it's available everywhere, let's sell it at retail. Why would I buy it at retail from you? If I buy it from a shop, I get buyer protection and there's all kinds of laws that have my back. If I buy it from you, I'm buying it from some random dude on eBay or Facebook with none of the buyer protection. So I'm not going to buy it from you at retail, I'm going to go to a shop. Which means if we hold our ground, if we wait, scalpers will actually not be selling it at retail. They will be buying it at retail, selling below retail, they will make a loss, and these scalpers, these are not entrepreneurial business fellows. These are not people with lots of business knowledge. These are people that are trying to make a quick buck at your expense. If you ignore them, they will sell at a loss, and they will stop doing it. Scalpers are super easy to beat. If you ignore them, I promise you, they will go away. But what about stores? Because this post from Bandai is about shops, is about stores selling above RRP. And my answer is the same. You ignore them. So my Booster 1.5 opening is coming in the next day or two, and it is going to be from the lovely folks at Millibods Gaming. They're hooking me up with a booster box. Why am I using Millibods Gaming rather than somebody else? Super simple. They never sell above RRP. I had another company, I'm not going to name them, they're one of the bigger online sellers. If you follow my channels at all, you can figure out who they are pretty easily. They offered exactly the same thing. Hey, we'll send you a free booster box, open it on your channel, give us a shout out. I said no. And the reason I said no wasn't because I didn't want a free Digimon box. Of course I wanted a free booster box. I said no because I cannot, in good conscience, advertise a company to you guys watching this channel that sell above RRP. I will not support that. So not only did I turn them down, but I told them I will not be, because they have sponsored me in the past, I told them I'm not interested in any sponsorship while they sell above RRP, and I told them this is the reason. I said no, because you sell above RRP, and this is going to be my stance until you fix this. Now, they haven't fixed it. You will not see any promotion between me and them. Millibots, however, absolutely. I go to Mad for Miniatures, my local game store down here in Cornwall. Wonderful people. They sell at retail. I will support them. I will support them all day long. And I do. They're great. What about these bigger online sellers that are ripping you off? You ignore them. Because supply will pick up. We've been told. Digimon, and I've explained, and hopefully I've made sense on this. Booster 1.0 and 1.5 will be printed into oblivion. Bandai know that there will come a point where they are selling, and to be clear, I am willing to bet, because it's happened with every game I have ever followed, there will come a point where the first set is ridiculously cheap. There was a time I was picking up, honestly, when set 2 was out of Transformers, I was picking up brand new booster boxes of Transformers for 40 quid. They retailed for over 100. When set 2 was out, I was picking up set 1 for less than half of RRP. Because Wizards of the Coast overprinted the base set of the Transformers TCG to hook in new players, exactly like I've said. And I did the exact same thing with Call of the Archons. I saw a lot of people picking up, they were £10 a deck, and I saw people picking up booster boxes for 30, 40 bucks. And this isn't some unusual thing. This is because you always overprint the first set, because you need to hook people in, and the most important thing is having product on the shelves. There will come a time when stock is easy. And when we get to that stage where stock is easy, we all need to agree that we are going to remember the stores, both online and offline, that looked after us and sold at a sensible price. And we are going to remember the stores that sold at a vastly inflated price, and we are going to give our business to those stores. I don't care what happens in the future with supply, I'm going to be buying my boxes from Millibots and Mad for Miniatures and companies like them. And these bigger online sellers, and they're all doing it, that have been trying to scalp themselves, and bearing in mind, it is worse when companies do it, because they buy these products at wholesale price. If they sell at retail, they make a tidy profit. So if they're selling above retail, they are making their regular profit plus extra profit, and they are doing it just to screw you over. So yeah, let's focus on the shops that are actually looking after us and having our back. Now, I keep seeing people trying to defend these shops and this practice, and again, worth pointing out, I've been professionally teaching business for a decade and a half. And essentially, I keep seeing these really spurious arguments saying, supply and demand, it's simple supply and demand. Fun little tip from Wassy: if you ever see somebody whose entire argument consists of the word supply and demand, that is an absolute giveaway. They don't know what they're talking about. I also hear people use the phrase market price. It's one of these phrases people have jumped on because they think it makes them sound really clever and like they know what they're talking about. And the theory essentially is, supply is down and demand is up, so of course the price is going to be high. And, the market price isn't RRP. Now that everybody's scalping it, the market price is what everybody's selling it for, and that's not how market price works. You see, there is a market price, and the market price is recommended retail price, or MSRP, as you lovely folks in America tend to say. And what is essentially happening is stores are trying to manipulate the market price at your expense to try and get extra profit for themselves. And the best way that I can explain this in 2021 is to just compare it to the PlayStation 5. PS5 is sold out everywhere, absolutely everywhere. It is an absolute nightmare to get hold of. And if you look at all of the big, successful, long-running stores, if you look at the supermarkets like Asda over here in the UK, and you look at things like Argos, or Game, or any long-running successful business, you will see that they sell at recommended retail price. And the reason they sell at recommended retail price, even though they could definitely sell it above and sell it is because they know that if you sell above RRP, you are going to annoy your customers, you are going to lose your customers, and it is not worth losing customers to make a small profit while you have an opportunity to just vastly increase prices. So they never do. It is small online sellers, or some of the bigger online sellers are pretty much all doing it now, but these companies haven't been around that long, and they've not really done this before, and I really hope they learn the lesson that actually it's not a good idea. And if we run around shouting supply and demand and market price without any real understanding of what those terms mean, what we're actually saying is, we're okay with this. And here's the thing, if you really are okay with this, stores ain't going to stop. If the big online sellers can sell at 50 or 100% above RRP, they are going to keep selling at that price. And the only way they will ever get away with it is if we let them. And Bandai have come out today and said really quite clearly, we are not cool with this. We are going to keep reprinting. We are going to make it available. I know not everyone can wait. I know that some of you have reasons, whatever, and that is absolutely fine. No judgment from me here. And I know sometimes you do have to buy it above RRP, even though you really don't want to. And again, if that's where you are, that's where you are. What I will say is, let's remember the stores that looked after us. And let's remember the stores that didn't. And let's stop shouting about supply and demand. And let's stop talking about market price. And let's stop giving excuses to all of these online sellers, and let's actually just try and be patient. Because I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, it will work. Sooner or later, it will work. So, the too long didn't read version of this video goes as follows. More supply is coming and will keep coming. Bandai have not botched the launch. There is nothing they really realistically could have done any different or better. And try and ignore scalpers and stores that are trying to get your money at frankly unrealistic prices. If you look at long-term successful businesses, they don't do this. The retail price is the market price unless you let other nefarious companies just rip you off. And I, for one, am not in favour of this. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you need to know. That's my little rant about it. I'd love to hear from you guys about it. But as always, and I think probably more so today than usual, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.